This is Visionary New Earth Leaders Podcast with me, Jenny Lyon, empowering visionary healers, entrepreneurs and leaders ready to actualize their fullest potential by expanding their consciousness and embodying 5D leadership and blending cutting-edge energy tools with business innovation and strategy to create impact and raise the world's vibration. I'm your host, Jenny Lyon Rainbow Anderson, and I am a New Earth business mentor, a channel and master healer. I'm also the leader of my own business. I have 23 plus years experience in energy work, mentorship and coaching. I'm a married mother of 2 based outside London in the UK. If you're ready to step into New Earth leadership and 5D consciousness, this is the channel to tune into and learn about embodied New Earth leadership, the power of self, energetic solutions to leadership, spiritual entrepreneurship, and joyful feminine creation. This is the vortex supporting the leaders into the new earth. Hello and welcome to the last Leadership Archetype episode of Visionary New Earth Leaders. Today we are talking about the creative and the bull, which is the number 6 in the soul contract system. So the number 6 holds the very positive energies of being practical, possessive and strong-willed in terms of, leadership. And it is a Taurian energy, it's very creative, and it starts out with a simple thought, and if it is compatible with truth, you can create reality upon it, which means that if you have a creative thought and it comes into your field and you decide to take action and ground it somewhere, it is an energy of the 6 that is actually happening for you. So we're going to talk about the positive aspects, and we're going to talk about the negative connotation of the 6 and how you can use this number in your leadership to your advantage, and also what to look out for, if something is not going so well, and what you can do to, to release that. So in the positive connotation or the positive aspect of the 6, it is a very sort of earthly number. So it's a physical number, as opposed to number 5, for example, which is a very etheric number. You can really feel the 6, the power of the 6 is like the bull, the Taurian energy, very grounded, very earthly, and they are super creative. So it's ability to taking a spark of an idea and then expand it into creating something into the reality. So it's very much like not just channeling the images and the art, it's very much about channeling a concept as well. And I would say now that the 6th I have in my overlay, Jenny Lyon Rainbow Anderson, which is my optimized name, I have a 6, and it really has helped me do this. This is actually how I do my business. I allow an idea or an image to come through, and then I take action on it and start creating it. And that is totally a 6 sort of magic, if you like. So the 6 is excellent. It's excellent in business and excellent in staying creative and focused and run a business. So anyone who has a 6 somewhere, it's not just creative and good for innovation and creating new things. It's also really good for running a business, the operations of a business. So if you're an entrepreneur and you have 6s, you will most definitely get stuff done. If they're not too stuck, maybe in a karmic position, but ultimately with a 6, you move forward. You use will and use thought to move forward, and it should be a fun and joyful process. You working with that energy of the 6. The 6 energy also starts. So this is how it works. It starts as a small spark, and then move in different directions, and then it lands into your field, and then you start illuminating it or energize it or expand it. So sometimes you have thought of a new idea or you've thought of a creative task, and then you see it somewhere else. It's almost like it's in the field. So it just means that what is meant for you and the creative thought or the creative channeled piece that's coming through that is meant for you will land in your field, and then you will take action on it. Some of those things that lands into your field, you won't. So they're not meant for you. But what I'm saying here is that creativity and innovation is out there in the universe. It's there for us to grasp and really, tag on to and pull into this 3D reality. And that's what the 6 is really good for. And I swear on my life, like the 6 has helped me build my business 100%, because I have an 11-2 in my spiritual goals, means that I can get a little bit unstructured in the beginning when I was learning how to build my business. But now the 11-2 is helping me to keep the structure of the business, and the 6 really helps me to keep continuing to evolve and be creative and come up with new things and move forward. So I really recommend it for entrepreneurship, but also I recommend it for leadership. Absolutely. So it's a very artistic energy, especially in the visual arts. So anything to do with painting, canvases, anything to do with the visual, so to speak, is brilliant. The 6 is brilliant for that. It's also very adaptable and can relate to anyone, and it's really good with communication. And spiritually, people that are using their 6, their minds are always looking for expansion. They're always looking to create something new. And if you think of humanity as it is a long journey of creation, isn't it? It's a long journey of evolution and creation and expansion of mind and consciousness. So I think the 6 really has a big part to play in our human evolution, really. And it's not just for the beauty of creating something beautifully, visually beautiful. It's also about creating something that's sustainable and that holds that groundedness and that stability here on Earth that we're looking for as well. And people with 6s, their mental powers of concentration are developed to a really high degree. They're very powerful and catalytic. So look, if you feel in your leadership that you're not focused, you're not grounded, you're not able to take action on the thoughts that you're having, you need a 6. You need a 6 in your overlay, or you need to come and see me, and we can see where we can pull this energy in from. Often it is just to optimize your name pretty much, and to add it also maybe into some parts of your business as well, in that sense. So what is the negative connotation of the 6? So I said the bull, didn't I? So the bull, when the bull or the Taurus gets angry and frustrated or stuck, they can really, they see red, they feel extremely frustrated, and they really access rage even, and it can become quite isolated and quite rigid as well. And that's the negative connotation of the 6. And it's like a disconnection from spiritual will, and that is also associated with inability to use will. So I can see this in some clients sometimes. If they have a 6 in their karma position or goal position, it means that they can say to me on the coaching call, "Oh, Jenny, I feel called to take action and implement these things." They say them and they share them. And then over the next week or 2, nothing happens. They get distracted. They don't go and action it. They don't put it in their diary, and find it hard to actually action that thought that they said they were going to do. And it sounds so weird, doesn't it? It sounds so weird to say, well, I'm going to do this, Jenny. And then the next day you get up and you put it in your calendar, you make the phone calls or make the things that you're going to, that you said you were going to do. And then it doesn't happen. That's very frustrating in itself, right? Because you just said you were going to do it and then it didn't happen. And it's like, what happened there, So this block to creativity or block to action comes from having the 6 in the karmic position. But anyway, let's talk through the negative connotations. So there will be blockages to creativity, and there will also be like a rigidity of expression and belief. So it's all those kind of like negative connotation of the Taurus, the bull, fear of failure. And then there's another one here where the 6 wants this need for guaranteed success. So if you think of anything in life, it always involves a little bit of risk, and they could become risk adverse. A 6 could become risk adverse, or so attached to the fact that it has to succeed or they won't act on it that they simply don't act. So then that belief that it has to be successful and it has to be a guarantee of success becomes the stuckness in itself, which is also not good, because life, business, and everything that we do, all the ventures that we go on, includes a certain amount of risk. So I always say to people with 6s, it's like, how much risk can you allow? 20%, 30%, 40%. How much can you push? Your 6 boundary of having this guarantee of success. And sometimes, but just talking through them, the fear of failure then, and the fear of not succeeding, can actually help. Just talking through it can sometimes just be the key, really, which I think is brilliant. The negative connotation as well is like anger and frustration, isolation energies. It can also be addictions. So sometimes people with 6s in karmic and goal positions and even talent positions can get addicted to substances, drugs, other things that just keeps them stuck in this sort of like consumption cycle. And they can also be very sort of disregarding towards others, themselves, and everything. So it's this sort of arrogant, sort of nonchalant way of being, disconnected from other people. And that then could bring them into isolation. And then also the inability to move ahead and achieve goals. That's obviously a result of feeling this stuckness and having this fear of failure and not, knowing if they're going to succeed or not. That can actually, result in this just not able to move forward. And I always say with people with 6s is if they feel like they're in this pattern, I say have a list of 3 things and just use those, like just go on that list every day. And that those 3 things may change from day to day, but don't overwhelm yourself with all these tasks, because a 6 will feel overwhelmed, a stuck 6 will feel overwhelmed or by a long list. So I always say just put 3 things on your list per day, make sure they get done, and then move on to the next day or the next list. And that really seems to work for the 6. So that's my super tip today. They can also feel quite unbalanced or wanting to achieve power. So that could look in leadership like a very bullish, a bullish manager or a bullish leader in the organization or the company or wherever you're working. If you may have seen this kind of leadership where it's like, it's my way or the highway. It was just kind of very sort of bullish way of leading, which, doesn't include, it's not very inclusive. There could also be this lack of focus and then blockages to the visual channel. So if somebody comes with a blocked 6 to me, I often say, do something creative. So like go and draw something, and they just look at me and go, why? I'm so bad at drawing. I don't know how to draw. And I'm just like, look, let's just channel, just get a big piece of paper out, start drawing something, even if it's just patterns or like a flower, or start drawing, a bird or something, just let it flow. And often when they do that, what happens is it releases something in them, which means that they will be able then to go and take action on those other tasks that are more business orientated in their business or in their leadership, which is so brilliant. So I think we're going to share a little bit of a story of the 6, personally for mine, and how 6s and 7s can work really well together. So as I said, I have a 6 in my overlay, Jenny Lyon Rainbow Anderson, but I have a 7 in my physical karma, and my husband has a 6 in his physical karma, which means that he technically could be the bull. He's also Taurian, by the way, but he could get stuck, right? And I have seen him stuck in ways. But what happens is with the 7, because I have a 7 in an overlay, and this is relationship reading now. I go into relationship talk here. But what could happen is, so I have a 7, which makes him become more decisive on what to do, because the 7 is about decisiveness and being, focused on one thing, or, getting something done and making decisions easily and move. And so I help him do that with the 6, and then the 6 helps me to stop being indecisive if I ever was, and I can be indecisive, at times. So those two numbers work brilliantly with each other. So although we have those numbers in karmic positions, it's really cool how it's worked out so well for us. Obviously, Spirit has designed it, but obviously, if you work with people, or you're in a relationship, you have a partner, or even with children, those type of, if you know you have energies that could release the 6, and you could find out more about that in the relationship readings with me. So feel free to reach out about that. That's really cool, that's really good. That's really brilliant, because it will help, it will really help. You can help each other by being in the right karmic, sort of partnership together, if that makes sense. Which is obviously always divinely designed. The other thing is my son has a 6 in his spiritual talent, which means that energy goes in to my husband's 5, which is helping him to ground. And it also, I believe, has got a very grounding sort of energy to our family in general, although my husband is very grounded too. So it's really working really well in this way. I think if you think of a 6, so let's move on to how a 6 would work at work, so to speak. So somebody who is leading and have a 6, they will be, I would say, very organized, and would probably be quite good at delegating. It's like they can see the process, they can see the tasks that needs to be done, and they want to see them done. So I can see it becomes a very productive team, a very productive environment. And if they can also then learn to tap into their creativity about how to creating more like really high-end brilliant solutions for clients, or for whatever, however they are working with their teams, and whoever the end receiver is of what they're producing, if they can really tap into this creativity and ways of solutions, solution orientated in so many innovative and creative ways, they will really excel in their leadership. They will really feel not just energized, but they will also feel really stimulated in a good way. So if you feel like you recognize the energies of the 6, and you think, I do think I have a 6, but I don't think I utilize it enough, then I'd say tap into the creativity. If you feel like you're not doing that, that will really help you to just go deeper, with your leadership role, and it really will help you to catalyze, the team further by allowing yourself to be the full energy of the 6, which you're meant to share and transmit into the world. So it's a good energy to have. One thing that could happen if a team has too many 6s, it could be maybe a bit of a headbutting sort of scenario, because if too many people want to be focusing and moving forward and being right, so to speak, or you're doing something that they consider being the right thing, it can be a bit of a heads together, right, stuck together, or the balls sort of like knocking heads with each other. So I don't think it's not good to have too many 6s in a team, and you may feel like the rigidity of wanting their way can then sort of stop the creation of the team or the things that you're wanting to to create. So I think a good balance of sixes is good. If I think of my family, because I haven't got a team of 10 people, but if I think of my family, so we all have sixes. My son and my husband have got it in their birth name, and my daughter and I have it in our overlay name, which means we all have sixes. So I notice sometimes the want for being right, or the want for having this last word, or the want for, that kind of, deciding, being leadership can be quite high in all of us. So I just back down often in certain things that doesn't matter on a larger scale, and let my daughter decide on things, and I let my son decide on things, because I can say, it's just their six, that will from the six, wanting to do it their way, that comes through. And that's not meaning, it's not like I'm rolling over on my back and let them sort of lead, but it could be small things like deciding what cake we're baking today. So I'm not going to say, well, we are definitely doing a lemon cake when my son wants to do a chocolate cake. I let him decide, right? Now I know that's like maybe not the best analogy, but it's almost like allowing the fluidity of the six to be creative, knowing when to step back and allowing that six to lead and that creative energy to come through, and knowing that if you have sixes in all of you in a team, to share that focus and the creativity and the decisiveness as well. So yeah. So I think that was all from me today in regards to the six, or the creative and the bull. If you feel like this resonates with you and want to dive into your own leadership archetypes and understand more about the soul contract, I recommend that you have your soul contract reading. You can book it through my website, but also have a look at the other episodes of the leadership archetypes, and you can also check in on what is the soul contract reading. I think it's episode number 6 in this podcast, and just have a look there and listen into more about the soul contract and learn more about it. And I wish you all a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next episode. And just to give you the heads up, this podcast is going to have one more episode for now, and then we're taking a little break and a pause, and we are doing a relaunch or rebranding of the podcast. So enjoy these episodes. There will be one more, which will be sort of a closing one for now, and then we're doing a rebranding and relaunching of the podcast. And I can't wait to show you what's birthing, because big things are coming. And so I'd advise you that you stay tuned, and I can't wait to continue connecting with you, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you for listening to Jenny Lyon's Visionary New Earth Leaders podcast. If you're ready to rewire your subconscious mind, clear your programming and collective conditioning, transform your trauma into trust, and step into your soul's calling and true leadership, or if you're ready to unlock your fullest potential through activating your light body and expand your consciousness exponentially, detangle and clear your past life karma and Akashic records, and setting up for success, launch your online spiritual business, and so much more, then go to jennylyon.love. And if you're receiving value from the show, I would love if you would share it with a friend and give it a 5-star review. Also, you can join me in one of my live free trainings, and you can find it right on the website, as well as in the link in my bio across all social media. I am Jenny Lyon across all platforms. I wish you a blessed day, and may you live your most authentic self.